Alright, well, looks like it's recording, so that's a plus side. We don't know if this is going to work, so Jack, if you're listening to this, have fun listening to whatever we're about to say for the next hour or so. And to our listeners, if this actually ever gets to you, welcome to Golden Dice. Episode, what, 51, right?
51.
51. We're at episode 51. That's crazy.
Crazy.
This could be a lost episode. We don't know.
I think it might be, looking at my voice waves. I might move my mic a little closer. There we go.
Yeah, that sounds a little bit better. I'm trying to move my mic a little bit further away.
Yeah,
watch us screw up that anyway.
Opposite problems.
So,
it's going to be another Whisper episode.
Yep, Whisper episode all day. So I am Scott. I am joined by Brian today. We're the only two available tonight. Everybody else has, work, and Shane's on a honeymoon or something, as if that is an excuse.
He wouldn't be on anyway.
Yeah. Well, hey, you never know. He's got a wife now. It's like a new wife, new life.
I think that would mean he comes on even less if there's a thing as such as negatives existing.
I feel like Liz is the more responsible of them, so she might get on it. Like, hey, your friends are counting. I'm kidding. I have no idea if Shane's ever going to appear on this podcast again. Now that has a built-in excuse of his beautiful wife Liz. Shane's wedding was a whole bunch of fun. Carrie, John's better half, was not John. Well, Jack John. I don't know why.
John.
Jack John. Jack John's better half, Carrie, was getting a little bit perturbed by the Destiny talk. Kept on having to shoo Tommy and I away from Jack John.
Discord is the devil.
Yeah, we did get a nice all the present members of Golden Dice picture. I know JohnJack put that up there. Jack John.
I wasn't there.
You weren't there. I don't know why we didn't. We should have probably communicated that, and I could have utilized my +1 for you, and then John Williams could have utilized his +1 for Eldest, and then we could have actually made it work. But we're just.
Someone did reach out to me and said, "Hey, I have a +1. You should definitely think about coming." And at first, I was like, "Absolutely, that sounds like a great plan." Before I realized I made plans to be up out of state that weekend, so I was totally set to go, and then I realized that I had a prior commitment, so
Whoops.
I just didn't go. But the pictures look great, and seemed like a great time. So congratulations to Shane.
Yeah, congratulations to Shane,
whoever that might be.
Not congratulations to Liz, you poor woman.
Yeah, so she pulled the short stick there.
Yeah, I know. It's it is what it is. I know you got to hang out with Mr. Chip, right?
Oh my
How
God!
was that?
Yeah, what a joy that was, because I think Mr. Chip came home a little more scarred than he did walking in. I taught him a whole bunch of things about the world. The young generation comes in and
things.
No, I can't. But he knows what it is, and
podcast,
if he'll listen,
Brian, please.
Yeah, no, none of that. No. Anyway, we played a great game of Destiny, and by we I mean Jack. And Jack bullied Mr. Chip. Round one, he played. There was a Lando Yoda mirror match right in the middle of a bar in Philly.
JohnJack?
And JohnJack. Yeah, JohnJack played Mr. Chip with a Lando Yoda, and Jack just beat the snot out of him. And I looked over at Chip and I said, "Chip, you're better than that." And he went, "You know what? You're right." And he pulled out a different deck, and it was, I believe it was Vader Trooper, and just completely wiped the floor with Jack. It was really, really a fun night, and a great time. We always love hanging with Mr. Chip. We also actually got a few people watching us, because it's not every day you see people whipping out play mats, and it's not every day that you see people at a bar in Chinatown playing with cards and dice that have Darth Vader's face on them, and people are like, what is that? I don't even know what that sheet you have that here, like what? But people were asking about it. People took some pictures, and it was a really cool time. So,
all right, yeah, you guys are celebrities. You Chinatown celebrities.
I don't know about that. They are. Me and Carrie are just kind of there for the ride, and the quesadillas.
And the case in Chinatown.
Yeah, we went to the most American bar in Chinatown.
Makes sense.
Yeah, wasn't bad. Not a bad time. 10 out of 10.
Excellent. So yeah, we had that. We had a wedding. It's been an eventful weekend for the Golden Dice, and now it's been a start of the week, fairly eventful. We've gotten some more spoilers, this time from Fantasy Flight Games themselves with an article. Have you had a chance to read the article, or did you just do what I did, which was look through the pictures?
I started to read through the article, and then I just kind of looked at the pictures, because a lot of them we saw from their live stream when Jeremy played Yoda.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the cards were already like Neiman Mastery, Neiman Mastery. I don't know how you're saying that, but
I think
the
Neiman.
yeah, Neiman's fine. I mean, yeah. And most of them I just saw. So I looked through, and there was a card from previous sets like Defensive Teachings and stuff like that in there. So I thought, I don't really need to read the whole article. So I just
Yeah.
kind of skimmed.
I kind of gave up long ago reading FFG articles because usually there's something wrong in them. And that was always the running joke. Like that was the big running joke with X-Wing, where something in the article would be getting a rule wrong,
Mm-hmm.
and that was it's something that's continued. One thing to consider with this, there isn't a release date down at the bottom of this. I know some people are looking for any and all inroads to any possible conspiracy theories related to this set. I know Canada has gotten some weird news from some stores relaying some things from their distributor, which is like White Fang or White something or other,
Yeah.
where they're only going to have like 600 boxes, and
Wow.
yeah, for the whole country of Canada.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and the thing that's up in the air is that information accurate? You never know. Distributors sometimes tell stores things because they're shorting those stores for reasons, and it's going elsewhere. Or so is it accurate? The 600 boxes to begin with, is that total for the entire set, or is that just like initially, and then there's other coming behind? And I guess there is also like a question of when this is going to be dropping in the United Kingdom and Europe. But every indication that we've been getting from any retailers that I can connect with, and that includes the retailers that are active in the community like Artificery, it seems like we are a go for pre-orders were due pretty much everywhere yesterday, and it seems like we're on the go for Friday, July 5th release.
Right, which is exciting. I've just seen a couple things said in the Discord where, not just our Discord, but a bunch of different Discords where people are saying, yeah, it looks like July 5th, and people are kind of panicking because no one said anything, but like, after what? This is set 8?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, after all these times, like, I'm not really panicking anymore.
Yeah,
Like, it's on the boat, it's happening, it's going to be.
The only thing I trust is the distributors telling retailers that they have it. And I believe at that point that has occurred.
I mean, I've seen Inception say that it's July 5th and he's Skynet, so
Yep. Hey.
I trust that.
Yep. In robots we trust.
Absolutely. He actually wanted to be on tonight, and I wasn't sure if we were going to be able to get anything out of the happy boops.
Yeah, look,
happy
we don't even know if this is going to work, if anyone's going to hear this, or if this is just going to be lost to the internet. So we don't want to waste someone like Inception on our inability to do anything technical for this podcast group.
Yeah, that needs to be with our fearless leader, RedShorts, JohnJack.
JohnJack is the only one that knows how to work any of this. He will be editing this episode if this episode ever sees the light of day. I am trying my darndest to not swear up a storm. But then on the other hand, I kind of want to do it just to give him more work.
That'd be funny. I'd laugh. I was thinking about doing it too, but it's kind of uncharacteristic for me. I only do it and, I slip up. But
yeah, you only did it while you were teaching children, right?
Yeah, only.
Yep.
Only then. That's it.
All right, so we are going to touch base on some spoilers. Some are from a week or so ago, a week or two at this point, that we didn't touch on the episode 50, simply because we just had too much fun, too many things to go around for that. So we're going to touch on the red spoilers from a week or so ago. We're going to touch on the spoilers from our friends over at iRebel, and then we are going to touch on the blue spoilers that were given today. Obviously, we'll probably lean a little bit heavier on the iRebel and the blue spoilers because the red spoilers we're about to go through have been talked about for a little bit. All right, so let's just we'll do like an alternating thing here. I'll just do the first card. I'm looking in the Destiny spoiler for Golden Dice if you want a reference point there, Brian.
Yeah.
First card we have is a 2-cost support, ATRT. It is a neutral support card. It is unique in the sense that it has all modified sides, a +1, +1, +2, +2, +3 for a resource. There are no symbols on this dice, so that means obviously it's going to have some unique text. It is a support vehicle. The modifier side of this die can be resolved with one of your trooper dice showing any symbol. That's a pretty powerful effect. This is a pretty good dice from the standpoint of just being versatile. It's going to go with whatever you got. Round one, add it to a resource die, and you're going to be sitting pretty for the rest of the game, it seems like, especially with trooper decks, which tend to run a little leaner. What do you think?
I agree. I think it's definitely an interesting support, but I think the problem is that this is just fodder for like a rules clarification here and there. Because it says can be. I don't know. I feel like people are going to be like, well, it can be, but why couldn't it be resolved with anything else?
Yeah, anytime there's a unique card that has any that isn't just literally blank with a die that has all black sides, people will come up with some question that just causes that, like that redheaded guy blinking meme. That's
Yeah,
just
right.
that's just what occurs.
It's like
Yeah,
people are
I
trying to
think
put mods on Grievous.
Yep, mods on Grievous. I think this is
Mods on Grievous.
definitely a card that is going to see a lot of play in trilogies, because Phasma is very powerful in trilogies, and I think that this card could take the place of, say, like a Sniper Team,
Mhm.
or even
Yep, it's
could
cheaper.
go along with Sniper Team. But I think it's a little bit more powerful than some other options that she has, and could even see play in Hero Trooper deck. But Hero Trooper decks, despite Shane's best efforts, are they're okay at best.
Yeah, they're suboptimal right now.
Yeah, it is what it is. That's the life of Hero. We're going to touch on that a little bit later in the podcast. So moving on down, this one's for you, Brian.
Looks like Mud Trooper, right?
Yeah,
Is that next what you got?
yeah, go ahead.
Because okay, so Mud Trooper, an 8 health, 8 cost character trooper. Sides read 1 range, 2 ranged, 2 range for 1 resource, 1 resource, blank blank. That is a character trooper. Text reads: after you activate this character or a leader, you may reroll one of your dice showing a blank. And he's a villain, so he looks cool, pretty standard fare. Kind of reminds me of an Executioner. It's kind of in the same ballpark.
It's a first order stormtrooper, but with 1 more health and 1 more point and an ability.
Right.
I guess that's worth it. I
Pretty
mean,
standard.
That's pretty. The curious thing to me is, based on what we've seen of Star Wars on the in the movies, Mud Troopers are like washout conscripts that are basically cannon fodder. Like more cannon fodder than Stormtroopers are already cannon fodder. But Stormtroopers are supposed to be like the elite, and with the First Order Stormtroopers, based on like the literature relating to Finn's upbringing, they're brainwashed and trained from a very, very young age. So it seems like this should have been, if anything, it should have been like flip-flop, where the Mud Trooper is the cheap generic, no ability, can't hit anything, and then the First Order Stormtrooper and the actual Stormtroopers are the better variations of that. But I guess this is what happens when Solo introduces the Mud Troopers after you already introduced First Order Troopers into your game.
Yeah, it just happens, and it's fine with me. If you don't think about it too much, it's fine.
Yeah,
like
it's a cool.
It's not a character
cool
that I'm like, right. It's not a unique where I was like, if they mess it up super bad, I'd be like, well, this is dumb. You know, it's just a Mud Trooper, so it's pretty standard. Looks good. I'm about it.
Do you think it'll see much play, or does the First Order Stormtrooper at 7, and then the Battle Droid at 6 fill that red filler?
I mean, people are still going to use the Battle Droid no matter what.
Sometimes the Battle Droid, they just have to.
Right. The Battle Droid and the Gungans, I mean, they're kind of just easily slottable.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't see why you wouldn't just run... I would probably run an Executioner over him.
Yeah.
Because I just like the Executioner's ability more.
Mm-hmm.
And they're probably not going to be picking off Executioners unless the other character you've got is just kind of like a support.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I mean, I might mess around with it and use it occasionally, but probably not.
Yeah. I think it's could find a place somewhere, but I just don't think it's going to excite anybody. But what might excite people is the next card, also a villain card, Gideon Hask. Inferno Squad Commando, 9 health, 13 point cost, 1 ranged, 2 indirect, 1 disrupt, 1 resource, character trooper, and his power action is, if you control the battlefield, roll a trooper die on a card you control into your pool. That's pretty interesting power action. That essentially means with the battlefield, you have a +1 die start. And,
True.
trooper die, that encompasses everything from Gideon himself to the Mud Trooper we just mentioned, all the way up to Vader's fist.
His I gotta say it. His art, because that's just what I do. It looks like Shrek 2, where Shrek turns human. I don't know why. It just looks like Shrek to me.
I have not gotten a chance. I remember being really gung-ho about the Battlefield 2 campaign, and then I just never got around to it because I just got sucked into playing like Starfighter Assault. So I don't know what this guy is supposed to look like. So I don't know if he looks like that or not.
Yeah, me either. I really couldn't tell you.
Like Iden,
That's just the only thing that popped out to me.
I know what Iden is supposed to look like because the actress that plays Iden plays the Shiva from The League.
I have not watched The League.
So in The League, they named their fantasy football trophy after this girl that they went to high school with that one of the characters lost their virginity to, and her name is Shiva Kamini Soma Kandakram. And it's the actress that also does the likeness for Iden Versio. And so that actress, she is the Shiva. And so they kind of, she's involved in the show at various points. She like dates one of the characters. She's friends with one of the other characters. But it's a constant running joke where they almost like revere her because she is the Shiva.
Yeah. I see, like the goddess.
Kind of, but their fantasy football trophy. And there's a picture of her with like braces and really bad hair on their trophy from high school, so she does not like that at all. But that's the only reason I know what Iden is supposed to look like and why I'm like, oh, the Iden art's really good. I can't. Maybe that's what this guy looks like.
That's a shame. If so,
ouch. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
To the actor that is the likeness for Gideon Hask, Brian thinks you're ugly.
I mean, but that's like calling it. An ugly person can call another ugly person ugly. It's just fair.
Okay. What about the card itself? What do you think?
The card I like. I like the power action. I like the sides. Good cost. The health would be great if it was 10.
Yeah.
Like one more point would be a little better.
It's tough.
I just like the cost adding up. I think we talked about this a dozen times, but I like the cost adding up to the health.
Yeah. That seems to be like the general curve. You got to have something pretty gnarly on you to kind of come in under that curve but still be good.
Right. Like at this point I would probably run Price over Hask.
Yeah, and Price, obviously she has a little bit of a battlefield related thing as well, but we did see a card that does allow you to spot a trooper to take the battlefield, so that plays well into his power action, because obviously your opponent's going to be inclined to take the battlefield, claim the battlefield to try and keep you from getting another dice, because that dice could be like, say, a Mega Blaster dice or a Fist dice that's pretty powerful.
Right. Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, he looks like a pretty good character. I think at 10-13, you're starting to get to the point where like you might be able to you could do like some 5 die starts, depending what comes out. Eventually you might be able to do, by 5 die starts, I mean like actual 6 die starts, and maybe eventually we get something where he fits in pretty well. Just off the bat, just off the bat, you could think like maybe any red blue deck that's running like Mega Blasters and Fist, if you can figure out one that also moves through its actions pretty well, boom, you get another Fist die.
I wouldn't mind even running him at single die.
Yeah.
Actually,
I mean, I guess he comes with 2 dice.
Right, exactly. So you could roll him in with the power action and then roll him in. Outside of that, so I mean, I think he's fine. I kind of like him. He's interesting.
Yeah. At least his die is always resolvable. It's got no modified side that would inhibit what you just mentioned.
Right. Because that always feels bad.
Yeah.
There's a couple times where I just, it feels awful. If you cheat out a die and it just has like a resource cost.
Yeah, it just hangs.
Like the Fist has that resource cost, and you're just like, well, cool. Just spend all that money for nothing.
Rand.
But that happens.
All right.
Yeah. So next card. I think what's next on your list?
You pick one, and then we'll just do it that way.
Okay. So I've got Take Control here. Right. It's a red 1-cost hero event, and it says play a vehicle in an opponent's discard pile for free. After the upkeep phase begins, discard that vehicle from play. I think this is really interesting. I kind of hate like messing with your opponent's stuff, like having it on. Like this is like downgrades get a little messy sometimes.
From like
Bounties
a
get a little messy
bookkeeping
sometimes.
standpoint.
Yeah, because then like there's always that like you start the next round and
you've got
there's
it.
like one or two people yelling judge, and you're like, someone took my dice and blah blah blah, and it's a whole big mess, and you slow down the tournament. But I think it's cool, and for one round it's definitely fair. Especially if you've got nothing like hard hitting, and your opponent's digging for like mitigation or something, or they've already got like a unique, well, that probably wouldn't work, but they've got something in the discard pile that you could definitely benefit from, even if it's just for resources or whatever have you. So,
yeah, I just can't see playing it because it does nothing if your opponent isn't running vehicles.
Right.
And like right now, it only looks like a card that would be any good if you knew that you were going to be playing hero decks all day, like against hero decks all day. Because heroes, their bigger hitters are generally speaking vehicles, whereas with the villains, their bigger hitters are non-vehicles.
Right.
I guess and
that kind of, go ahead.
No, but it's like kind of like a meta call, but then even in a meta where you would be like, it's not going to be dead in a lot of matchups, I just don't know if I'd want it.
Yeah, I mean, even if you're doing, I mean, this doesn't have to be a hero vehicle either. Like it could be something else. But even at the same time, I mean, like what if I'm playing against? It just feels bad if you bring it for no reason.
Yeah, it's like any card that could be dead in a lot of matchups, it has to be extremely impactful. And this is decent value when it works, but it's not giving you that excess value that makes it so you're fine with it not working most of the time.
Right. And if the fifth set of a 6-stat standard, there are so many other cards that I'd rather fill in with my 30 that I don't know if I would take this. But it's not bad by any stretch of the imagination. I just,
yeah,
not in the
I'm even thinking like
meta.
in trilogies, it'd be pretty weak. Because there haven't been that many vehicles.
I mean, I think there's something coming up that you could take that would be fine. The ATR2 would be fine, but if you don't have troopers, that doesn't work either. So, like, yeah, what are you really getting out of this?
I guess we need a real heavy vehicle set for this to be more attractive.
Yeah,
all right.
I agree.
Moving on to just picking another card, we've got Admiral Holdo. A million Holdo. It's one thing I like. We've got a bunch of characters, and we're going to touch on another one probably in a little bit, that are pretty much only known by their rank plus their last name.
Yeah.
Why are we giving them first names? Just call her Admiral Holdo.
I think that no one's going to pay attention to it because no one calls like Orinda. Like who's calling Price Orinda Price? Who's calling I don't know. I'm getting nitpicky.
Yeah, so that's just me. Just like I almost read her name as Admiral even because it starts with an A. She is a hero legendary card, 10-13 cost, 9 health, so she is below that curve that we just spoke about with Gideon Hask. But there's probably good reason for that. She has a 2 indirect, 1 focus, 2 focus, 1 shield, and special side. She is a character leader, as you'd expect, given she's a vice admiral. Yeah, it's a leadership position.
Well, we know how that goes sometimes, though. So
after this character is defeated, you may ready a vehicle. So this is like playing into that K2SO area where you got like the undefeated on the red hero character. And her special is gain 1 resource or play a vehicle from your hand, decreasing its cost by 2. So basically Rally Aid.
Yeah.
Yep, Rally Aid as a special. I think except for her health, this is a really strong character.
I would agree. I hate, again, like 9 health is just such a weird, like squishy place. And I mean, I guess you could strategically, with certain cards, you can kind of pile on the damage at the right time to like trigger a reactivation. But 9 is just such a weird place. And like for a legendary 10-13, I don't know. I want at least 10 health on my legendary characters.
I think that's fair.
I also like that her hair is signifying her legendary status.
It
So that's good.
matches. It matches to like a
It does.
T.
It does. It's like I'm looking at it, I'm like, ooh, that looks very similar. Good character though.
Yeah, I think I want to if we get a few more impactful lower cost vehicles, because I think her special, I mean, you can use it on bigger stuff, but I think it does trend itself to being that kind of, as we said, like the rally aid on a stick, and the rally aid was best when it was just flooding the board with like Y-wings and T-47s and things like that.
Right.
I wish we had the Y-wings still.
I mean, what could you like resistance great speeders and X-wings for free is cool.
Resistant great speeders are phenomenal. The X-wings are the problem child in the sense that they just,
I want to love them.
You need too many. You need to get 2 of them on the board before you're fine with them, and then you got to get a 3rd on before they're amazing. And
4th is just a cherry on top, but like if you
it's tough. It's tough sometimes. Yeah, if you get the 4th out, you're probably winning that game. But it's tough sometimes to get to the table.
Right.
Short of AR, and then it's the X-wings are really bad into mill.
That's true as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's that's already a problem that hero vehicles have, especially like the small hero vehicles. So it's almost something. It's like, do you really? Maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe you can just compound that bad matchup because it's already such a bad matchup that you're like, I'm not winning it anyway, so I might as well not care that this makes it worse.
Right. I mean, I still like to lean into it. I've been messing around with that 5-die Ayla Satine question mark deck, because you can just slot that last character in wherever, and I just love it because I mean, if you do get the X-wings out, great. It's a whole different matchup than when you don't. But like, I just want to love them, but they're so situational. You need to. Anyway, Holdo's great. I like her die sides. I like the ability. I like the rally aid. The health is just too squishy for me. I like her. I say she's good, but I don't know. We'll have to see.
Yeah, I don't see anything about her that like jumps out to me and screams that she's going to be like a linchpin in a tier 1 deck, but she definitely is like fundamentally sound enough to be the linchpin in a tier 2 deck, and tier 2 decks can win tournaments.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, vehicle's in a weird spot right now anyway. So, unless maybe next set has something great for us as far as vehicles goes, but as I'm seeing it right now, I just don't. I don't know. I don't care as much. Oh, speaking of vehicles, though, this next one, the B-Wing. So a 3-cost support vehicle, red hero, rare, 2 ranged, +3 ranged, disrupt, 2 shield, 1 resource, blank. After the activation phase begins, you may activate the support. I think this is a weak vehicle, like for sure. Like, I want more out of a 3-drop that you can action cheat out. It's 2 sides for 3 resources.
Yeah, I'm of the same opinion. They were obviously scared of its ability, and there is some combo potential with that ability, so they kind of hedge that ability with only 2 damage sides for a 3-cost vehicle, one of which is a modifier. Right. And it's not like the damage sides are big either. It's not like you're sitting on like a +3 or +4.
Right. And Shane loves it, though. It's got a 2 shield side.
It's got a 2 shield side, but I don't even think I don't even think Shane can love that.
No, I would run the resistance bomber instead of this.
Yeah, I probably would too, just because I want my 3-cost vehicle. I needed to do some damage.
Right. Even if I've got Holdo, I'm not running this because it doesn't pull its weight. I feel like.
Well, so the biggest problem that I find with it, people, because it has a unique ability, people have been trying to like kind of find a way to justify its existence. Beyond and just looking at the bad dice, the biggest problem I have with it, it's a 3-cost vehicle with not a 3-cost dice. That's a 2-cost. That's not even a 2-cost dice.
Right.
We've got 2-costers that have better dice than that. It's got an ability, but it doesn't have an ability the turn you play it.
Right.
The
So
turn you play it is past its point of when it can activate. So you're basically getting a blank card for 1 round, and we are talking about a game that only goes 1 to 4 rounds, or I mean, goes between 3 and 4 rounds for the most part right now.
right. I mean, 4 is
So
even pushing
how
it.
many rounds can you have where you when you're only 25% of the game the card's blank even if you play it on the first turn?
Right.
I don't like it. It sucks because I love B-wings.
Yeah, I liked this ship back when I played like Rogue Squadron and stuff. I loved the B-wing,
Mm-hmm.
but this just makes me sad. It's like the lat. Like I love the lat,
Yeah.
and they just made the lat crap. Like I
Yeah,
just
well,
don't
yeah.
understand why they can't get like hero vehicles. This is such a strange spot. This set, or not this set,
Yeah,
but like
here
this
is in a
block.
strange spot. We're gonna talk about that a little later, provided we have a little time.
Absolutely.
All right. So from the lowly B-wing, we're gonna go to Firm Resolve. Firm Resolve is a support, 1 cost. After one of your characters is discarded or a vehicle you control is discarded, you may place 1 resource on the support. Action: remove 1 resource from the support. Turn a die to any side. This card is pointless.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? Like,
This doesn't
how
have
many
any.
vehicles and how many characters are dying on your side that you're putting this down? Got to get it down before they die, and then you get a focus.
Right. I mean, it doesn't seem worth it at all, even at 1 resource. Because again, we're talking about if you don't drop this turn 1, like its value, as very little as it is still decreasing.
Yeah, it's one of those things that it's like it's an uncommon. You're gonna cringe every time you open it.
Absolutely, I hate
Moving
that.
on.
Moving on. Lightspeed Assault. 0 cost event, red hero. Defeat 1 of your leader characters and discard a vehicle you control. Then discard an opponent's vehicle from play and deal indirect damage to them equal to the discarded vehicle's combined cost. So again, I mean, obviously this is made for Holdo.
Yeah, I mean she did it, so I mean,
Yeah, she did it. The art's there. Like this is made for Holdo. But again, like the meta's in such a weird spot where not everyone's running vehicles. And you know, if people are running what they should be running, which is the big 3, the unholy trinity, you know, you're not going to be discarding anything. So it really just kind of shoots you in the foot bringing this. I mean, again, we don't know what the rest of the set looks like. We don't know what, you know, the future looks like. But as it stands right now, all this vehicle stuff for Red Heroes, it's pointless.
Yeah, I mean, all right. So with lightsaber assault, one thing that you need to make sure of: you do not need to discard your opponent's vehicle to do the damage.
Right.
You can just do it with just yours. So it is entirely possible for you to just defeat a leader and then chuck a 6-cost Falcon at them for 6 damage.
Sure.
But
and you could potentially reset a vehicle with Holdo, but
yeah, I think it's actually got a little anti-synergy with Holdo because it's like you have to defeat a leader. So all right, she's the leader, she qualifies. She has an effect on defeat, but you're discarding a vehicle. Like, how many vehicles you got?
Right. How many vehicles can you afford to discard? Because that also kind of goes against your win condition.
Yeah, and if you're playing this Lightspeed Assault, I think the only time you're playing it is when it ends the game.
Right.
Because how many other times can you afford to just flat out kill your own character?
Close to never.
Yeah, so
a leader character at that.
A leader character, so it's kind of minimal and stuff. Obviously, Living the Dream is going to be chucking a Claudite at people.
Yeah, I didn't think of that. Chuck a Claudite, drop a Falcon. Win the game.
If you're playing, if you know you're going to be playing into like another hero vehicle deck, I mean, getting rid of a Falcon and your own Falcon and dealing 12 indirect damage, that's a real thing.
True. Right.
So again, it's just we've gotten 2 cards from this set that I don't think there's enough vehicles right now to justify them.
Right. I mean, looking at
maybe in like a future set, we're going to get like a vehicle heavy set, and then you're like, yeah, I know that there's a very strong chance that my opponents are going to be playing vehicles, so that I can think about including this card, not just from the standpoint I know that I can throw my own for 3, 4, 5, 6 damage, maybe as a finisher, but if they've got their own on there, then maybe I can bring it up to like 6, 7, 8, and then in which case that's real reach. That's like that's a character.
Right.
That's a game ender. So Hey, maybe in the future. I don't see it now though.
So I take it back. It's not pointless. It's just not particularly ideal at this particular time.
Yeah, it's. I mean, because it's dealing damage out of hand, it can't be the worst thing that they've ever printed.
Sure. I'm sure
I think
someone will find
I
a way
think
to
we
make a
just
buck.
talked about another card that's worse. But another uncommon that I definitely. I mean, wow, there's 3 uncommons in this spoiler array, and that is the only, or 4 uncommons. We're about to touch the other one, but like only 2
Right.
of them would I care to open.
Yeah.
And by care, I mean like I care about Lightspeed Assault, and I'm doing like air quotes.
Right. I would care in the future if I got it, but when I open it, I'd be pretty bummed.
Yeah.
Moving on to the next one.
Yeah.
You are in command now. A 0-cost red neutral event. It has ambush, which they spell out what you do with that now. Play a title from your hand or discard pile, decreasing its cost by 1 and ignoring its player restrictions. This one I wouldn't be totally bummed to see.
No,
if cards like Grand Moff or Rebellion Leader were to become popular, especially with the next card that we're going to talk about coming into play, I'd probably slap that down instead of the other 2.
I think this is you are in command now as a uncommon. You'd be fine to see because it's going to play into, well, might as well just call it what it is. Admiral. Admiral is a 4-cost upgrade title, legendary card, neutral. It has a 3 indirect, a 2 focus, a 3 focus, a 3 shield, and then 2 special sides. Leader character only, so it's not restricted to red, just leader. After you play this upgrade, you may spend 2 resources to ready a character or vehicle, and then its special is exhaust this upgrade to ready a character or vehicle. So clearly, admirals just get shit done. They get people, they get stuff going.
Where was it? 36 minutes and
I'm
50 seconds in. We
I
found
thought
our
this
first
was like
one, ladies and
broadcast
gentlemen.
television. They're allowed to say that one.
Are we?
I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. It's up to Admiral RedShorts.
Should I just run through the 7 dirty words you're not allowed to say on television and see which ones end up on here?
Oh, that's a really interesting choice for Jack.
Hey, JohnJack, Captain RedShorts, can we be a PG-13 podcast where I get 1 F-bomb per thing?
Oh, please do it. Please do. Please consider, Jack.
Yeah. So we don't know.
I love this card though.
I think this card is. I think this card is. I don't want to say it's necessarily like the neutral bomb of the set because it is a 4-cost upgrade that doesn't have redeploy, but it can put in some work. I mean, you're talking about you might get 3 uses out of something with this in a turn, provided you've got the money. And as we've seen, FFG has clearly underestimated the amount of money that is possible to be generated in this game. I'm surprised this doesn't have a 3 resource side.
A little bit, but yeah,
that would be the entourage thing where it's
God.
like, oh yeah, this thing you spend money to ready stuff. Oh yeah, and we're going to put a side on it that actually pays for readying it. They didn't do that. Way to go, FFG.
Throw this into the degenerate droids deck and see some sparks fly.
Yeah. I mean, I don't necessarily.
You could do anything.
I don't see this as a vehicle readying option. No. I see this as readying a character, and the reason behind that is, one, we already have options to ready vehicles. You have the R2 astromech. Like, how many different options do you need to ready vehicles? Costing 2 resources, you don't have that many resources. But with this, also, it's a little tough to play this on a character to ready something that isn't that character, because then you're not getting extra uses out of this dice that you just paid 4 resources or an overwrite, so 4 equivalent resources for. Right. I think overwriting is the only way that you're getting off that when played ability.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, unless, again, you've got some kind of deck that just churns out, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 resources a turn.
I mean, it's possible.
We've seen it's possible.
It's entirely possible, yeah.
But I'm a big fan. It doesn't give me, like Rebellion Leader. When I opened up Rebellion Leader out of my packs, I was like, oh, all right. Where do I even put this? Because, this one I feel like
Yeah.
I'd use, and it has a good enough ability where,
Yeah,
I like it.
and with the previous
I like it
card,
a
it can
lot.
go on anybody with the previous card with You Are in
Yeah.
Command now. As far as like leader characters that it can generically go on, obviously Holdo's a leader. I don't necessarily want to put this on her because she doesn't have damage sides herself, and like I said, I want this to be ready in characters. Maybe Admiral Mace Windu.
Admiral Mace Windu.
Admiral
Put it on
Satine.
Satine.
I mean,
Yeah.
she's.
Could you put it on like someone like Vader?
I mean, he's not a leader.
I mean, could you use it with someone like
I
Vader?
mean, if you use You Are in Command now, is definitely like that's a thing. I think that's a thing that's already gotten some traction with some people as far as like, all right, well, I'm just gonna use You Are in Command now, and I'm gonna ready Vader a bunch of times. Because Vader's just Vader. Trying to think of other native leaders. I think the two that jump to mind most. I think probably the strongest one, just leader in and of itself, without needing the extra one, would be Admiral Tobias Beckett.
Well, he was a commander in the the war.
He
so
he can generate the money to actually pay for this.
True,
and his die is strong enough to warrant another for you to be excited about activating him again. And you're already playing his rifle, and that's either a nice dice to roll back in again, or a nice card to be able to overwrite, because it does already have the ability that you get when you play it.
Right. Well, it doesn't need to be on the character to ready the character.
No, it doesn't. So yeah, you can always do that, but I'm looking at it from the standpoint, if I'm spending the cost to put this thing out, I want to get its die used a few times.
Oh, sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Because any of the sides, I mean, the special, the first time is obviously great because you're going to get another ready out of it. Then it gets 2 blanks, but you're fine with that. But like 3 shields,
I can on Beckett or Iden.
Yep, Beckett or Iden. Really. I mean, yeah, Iden is a good one as well. I think she's better than the Big Phasma, because the Big Phasma's character dice are pretty weak. You don't get a second power action.
Yeah.
Baby Phasma's dice are pretty good. If Baby Phasma ever gets that balance of the force removed, then she's a nice target for Admiralty as well.
Absolutely.
All right, so that I think that concludes the red spoilers.
I believe all right, let's. So do we want to do the gold, the other?
Yeah, let's go iRebel, because iRebel has more red stuff. So we're going to continue on the red train. Yeah. All right, sure. I'll lead off with the character card. We have Conan Mahdi, Overconfident Officer. He is a 9/12 for 9 health, so he is at that nice kind of cost curve. Character leader, 2 focus, 1 discard, 2 discard for 1 resource, 1 shield, 1 resource. And he has ability text. After you resolve this die showing a discard, you may discard a card from your hand to remove a die. He is good and useless at the same time.
Yeah, I agree. I just don't see why, like, what combination of villain mill would outrank the hero mill.
Yeah, that's the big thing. Tommy came in guns a-blazing when this guy got previewed, like really, because it in a vacuum he is a phenomenal card, and if he was a hero card, we'd be like screeching to the high heavens how amazing he's going to be in mill. But villain just doesn't have any ways beyond some events to hit the deck. And
right. Yeah, and I just since the days of buyout, villain mill has just not been the same.
I don't think villain mill actually ever existed, because I think buyout got it in like the release RRG. Yeah, I don't think villain mill ever like had that day in the sun. Like, it existed and everybody knew that it was coming, but I don't remember that. Maybe I'm just like off on my timeline. Maybe it just.
What about like Unkar Thrawn and all that? They hit it pretty fast, but like.
Yeah, maybe. Well, I just don't. Maybe it was just there was no big events, but I thought it was like those cards got previewed, and I'm pretty sure Jeremy played it at one of the like designer challenge type things. I'm pretty
Mhm.
sure that the way the story has been told for me, like Jeremy was playing that and just smoking people with it to the point where like someone like finally had to hit him on the shoulder, like you need to pull something else out. And like people are always like sitting there like, was he trying to prove a point? Like, did he think
Yeah.
this was broken and nobody wanted to listen? So he's like, well, I'm just gonna beat people over the head with it until they moan about it being broken.
Yeah, I don't know. I've tried different variations of Villain Mill, and none of them just felt anything close to what
Yeah, I
Hero can
mean,
do.
And
that's the only way the heroes
yeah,
like any kind of
Hero Mill
relevant.
can beat you in 3 turns, 3 rounds, and can
Absolutely.
definitely beat you in 4. Whereas Villain Mill, it's like, what are you gonna give me 5 rounds to kill your characters? Like, that's pretty easy.
Yeah, regardless of what kind of mitigation they have,
You run
they
out
just can't
eventually.
do the same things the hero can. Exactly. You almost run out of
Yeah,
at the
you
same pace
you kind of do.
your opponent is. Honestly, you know
Hmm.
yourself.
I think he's just he's a good looking card without a home right now. He's an orphan.
Yeah. I also saw someone Photoshop Conan
Yeah, that
O'Brien's
happened
face
like
on him,
within
so
like
that's
two
all I see
seconds.
when.
That's the type of thing where I'm like, that's
um,
technically something I would delete off the Facebook group, but I think it's funny, so I'm gonna leave it up there.
next card, Counterintelligence. It's a 0 cost event. Spot a leader to look at an opponent's hand and place an event from it on top of their deck. Um, okay.
Yeah, it's
Like I don't know what. There's nothing. Like okay, you put it on the deck. Congratulations again. You can't hit the deck though.
I I
So what are you
I
doing
think you're
here?
looking at it from the wrong standpoint. I think you need to look at it from the standpoint of think of this in a deck that's like trying to deal some damage. You just looked at your opponent's hand and you placed their mitigation on top of their deck. You now know what's in their hand, so you can play around any other mitigation you may have left, and maybe they don't have any mitigation left.
Yeah, sure. I guess.
I think this is going to be your I think this is this set's sinister piece.
I don't think it's bad. I never said
I
it's
think this
bad.
is
I just
going
said
on.
like
I think this is
I
going on Brian's like worst 5 list for this set, and
the
it's going to be
bottom
Sinister Piece 2.0.
overhyped.
Yeah,
Nah, I don't
I
know. I just
you have a
don't see
very
it.
lukewarm reaction to it right now. I think you got to put it on there for that reason because I know that the people are kind of hyped for this card, and I think they're hyped for a good reason. Like looking at your opponent's hand is a powerful effect. Getting rid of one of the event cards in it, we've seen Probe sees play. Uh, Scruffy sees play for that purpose. Friends in Low Places saw play when it was legal, and this is basically just a Friends in Low Places alternative. Yes, it doesn't discard it, but you know that it's going to be there next turn, and mitigation that you know exists, like you can play around it a little bit.
Yeah, but it's an event though. Like I would much rather it be hitting something. I mean, it's a 0 cost, so I can't complain too much. But it's I don't know. It's fine. I'm not poo pooing it. I'm just saying that I don't really
You're poo
see.
pooing it so damn hard.
I'm not poo poo. All right, I'm pooing it, not
He's
poo
just
pooing.
pooing it.
I'm
You
pooing
heard it
it.
here first. He's one
Just
poo,
one poo.
not two. All right, so this is
Yeah,
Sinister Piece 2.0. We're going to be making fun of you in a few months about this endlessly.
I'm more hype about the
Oh
next
God,
card
I
we're going
hate.
to talk
All
about.
right, so 1 cost support, Separatist Embargo. It is unique. After you play the support, name a card. Copies of the name card cannot be played. It, like Counterintelligence, is a villain card. Um, I hate this card.
Tell me more. Tell me why.
I think one, making it villain only is just kind of stepping on the neck of hero. It is kind of like in the same vein as like, why did you give blue villains stifle? This is a very unique effect. No other card in the game can do this type of thing this way, and you're just kind of loading up those effects on the villain side. So it's kind of like leaving
Hmm.
heroes kind of flapping in the breeze, especially when you consider that this card works for both players. If you name a card, you can't play it as well. So, like, say you name Entourage. If you have Entourage in your deck, you can't play it. But because this is a villain card, when it's playing against hero decks, provided they don't name a neutral card, it's a one-sided effect. So it's like
Right.
even worse when played against hero as far as like beating down hero more. And I think this card plays it really counters a number of the somewhat viable hero decks that we've seen. Like this is a card that counters decks that are reliant on single combo pieces. So it counters decks or could counter decks that rely on like the one big cost AR play.
That's what I was gonna say. So when we're looking at this card, outside of the three, the Mega Blasters, Entourage, and Fist, which again, if you're playing it against another villain deck, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot.
Like
but
you can't name Mega
outside of
Blasters
that, what do you think's
Mega
getting
Blasters.
hit?
You know what I mean?
Right.
It's I mean, like there's
what's getting called? Like no answer.
I mean, stuff like that, maybe more Anakin's Pod in that sense, if it hasn't hit play. But like, yeah, if you see this first turn and you know you're playing against like a Shadowcaster deck or like a big Falcon deck, you'll just name Millennium Falcon, and that's their deck concept. And I get I get that there's some attractive area for having cards that can be like that type of thing to those type of like singular type deck combos. But none of our singular deck type combos are really all that good. So we're kind of just damaging the things that already don't need to be damaged.
That's fair. I like that more than I like counterintelligence. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's, I mean, I don't know. I just feel like it's the type of card that hurts things that don't need to be hurt and doesn't hurt things that are the more powerful things. Because like when you're looking at like villain side where they can just play an array of big threats, a card that can stop them from playing one doesn't really hurt them as much as hero, where you're more limited on the big threats that you have, and this could cut out your legs.
True.
But hey, it can be vandalized, it can be dismantled. It is a support.
Yeah. There are ways around it, and I don't think it's oppressive. I think it's an interesting way to play. I'm all about those, and it's just another obstacle you got to work around. But it's not oppressive. It's not. I don't see it as like a like a negative play experience or anything like that.
I don't necessarily think so, unless you were playing like a Han Biggs type deck where you're just ARing for the Falcon and they name Falcon. That would suck pretty bad. And
yeah, it definitely hurts AR, but you got to get it out.
You have to get it out before
AR can be
affected. And generally speaking, like I kind of don't, as a rule, I kind of don't like cards that either don't do much or just ruin things. You know what I mean? Right. Like either it's like
imagine if this is a plot,
or it's wildly powerful and invalidates. Like it just makes it so like, all right, well, we might as well scoop up the game. I never like cards like that.
Well, like imagine if this is a plot. Like how would your opinion differ
if this was a plot, then FFG
instead
would
of like
be stupid.
A support? Because like I'm looking at it and I think it's interesting, but like I said, and like you said, like it just doesn't. You have to play it early. So many of these cards you have to play early.
I don't know if you have to play this early. You have to play it early to get some things, but I do think there is like a second level play with it where it's like, all right, we've gone through a few rounds. We're to the point of like, what could my opponent have that could turn the game around or keep me from winning the game this turn? I'm going to name that card. I think that might be an area where this sees some like real interesting play as opposed to let's just make a bunch of decks that were like tier 2, not any good.
I can see these going in a Thrawn deck actually, though. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, but like I don't think Thrawn's problem is control related. I think Thrawn's problem is going to be doing anything other than control.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see.
I think Cody from ABG on their last podcast described him as the character that is best at not doing anything. You don't do anything, and your opponent doesn't do anything. Nobody does anything.
Yeah, that's the way I like to play it. Just dirtle around, you know.
that's next level dirtling.
That's super
All right.
dirtling. Shout out to Ira Bell for the spoilers, though.
Yep, these are from our friends over at iRebel. You can go over to their site, and I encourage you do, because they have more resources than as far as like
Literally
tournament
anybody.
results and everything. It's
It's
ridiculous
crazy.
what Amanda's able to do over there. But Amanda and Sarah, they give their play-by-play and their thoughts on their spoilers. So I encourage you to go over there and read their opinions on these as well, because they're different than ours. And I know that they're pretty excited about the Separatist embargo, but I'm just gonna be over here pouting about it.
They also have a super cool intro. Just saying.
Yes, they do.
Anyway, so some new spoilers as of what I think today, right? Literally hours ago.
Like 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was driving around my car, and then all of a sudden,
Spoilers.
it was Inception.
Oh, of course it was.
He was the first one.
Anytime I see Inception, so I've got a watch, and anytime I see Discord Inception image.jpg, I'm like, oh, it's happening. It is happening.
Yep.
Do you want to take this first one, or do you want me to take it?
You can go first.
Youngling, a 4-cost, 4 health, blue hero, character apprentice. Its text reads, it's a diceless character, by the way. Its text reads, include only if you have a Jedi on your team. Power action, play a blue upgrade from your hand onto this character, decreasing its cost by 1. The flavor text is, truly wonderful, the mind of a child is. That's from Yoda. Cool.
I mean, I think it's fantastic that a single Fear and Dead Men can kill them all.
Did you see that? That someone posted that meme too.
Yeah, that was obviously everybody's first thought. The first time they made a Youngling card, people were gonna be like, "Can Vader kill it?"
I'm not allowed to talk about diceless characters, as Tommy has told me.
Well, yeah, you're
10,000
wrong.
times. Yeah, of course, there it is. But I really do like these guys, and obviously, you can play them with Yoda. You can play them with literally any blue hero. And I don't.
No, any Jedi. It has to be a Jedi.
Or any blue Jedi, yeah. But I don't.
Any Jedi. It doesn't have to be a blue Jedi. Maybe if we get like a not blue Jedi.
I was gonna say, wait a minute. I'm like, I was racking my mind. I was like, wait a minute.
No, right now there's none. But maybe if we could eventually.
Sure. Yeah. I think that blue is the Force, though. So.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I like it. It's cool. Power action is neat. It's super duper squishy. Hopefully, just playing redeploy weapons on this thing and slapping over across.
That's the only way this is working. I mean, it can soak indirect. It's not like a Night Sister Witch zombie thing, whatever it is.
Right.
So this can soak indirect for you, so you can force that redeploy. It's basically got a Padawan ability, like from the original Padawan.
Yeah,
so that was good when we had fairly decent redeploy weapons. I don't know if we have enough now, but you could do like a really trolly deck where you do what Plo Koon is 14 points.
Yeah. Does this work if it's a power action though?
Yes, it does. It's a character ability, so Plo Koon gets it. So if you play multiple Younglings, he gets multiple power actions.
Ah.
At least I believe that's how it works. I know he gets the power action, and I believe it is the case that he would get multiple iterations of it. So like say you did Plo and 4 Younglings, he'd have 4 separate power actions to decrease the cost of a card from your hand.
So you power action and upgrade on, and they stack? Or
not stack in the sense that you get 4 separate times where you would have that power action decreasing by 1.
That doesn't really do anything per round, though, does it?
Or no, it doesn't. You'd have to draw more cards for that to be a thing,
and have all the honed skills on there too.
Yeah, but I think maybe Plo with 2 of these guys and some other stuff.
A Youngling, Chief Chirpa, an Ewok, another Ewok built to last, or something like that.
I think you can do Plo Koon. I want to say 3 of these guys and built to last.
Yeah, so what's Plo Koon is at Elite 14. He's 11-14, so that would be 12.
That would work.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
that's a thing.
That's interesting.
So the problem with that is you just don't have enough good blue things. If you could figure out a way to get yellow into that deck, then all of a sudden you got like Chewie's blaster rifle and Han's gun.
But it's a blue upgrade.
It is a blue upgrade. Yeah, it doesn't. Well, I mean, you could always you don't need to discount everything in your deck. So you just play like use the blue thing for the discount, then you get the money back with Built to Last, and then you play like the yellow thing as well, because ideally you're playing more than one thing. I don't know. You're gonna need a bunch of draw effects. You're gonna need to have a fistful of cards to have enough upgrades to play.
Yep.
I think he's fine. I don't think he. I mean, they've got it pictured side by side here. I don't want to play these with the new Yoda. I don't care that his shields can block for them.
Yeah.
I just don't.
Yeah, do you want to really play, like, I don't know.
Because they don't do anything until you play an upgrade on them.
Yeah.
And unless that upgrade has redeploy, it's really sketchy to put it there, even if you can block
They're
for
so
them.
squishy. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
There's
just
not them.
So imagine your Yodas and, all that. Even his 6 shields isn't going to block. Oh, that would be devastating.
Yeah. All right. Next card up, and this plays into the younglings. We have Professor Hu Yang. He is a support. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. No, that's just a different one.
All right. Oh, that's the next one I see. 3-cost support droid. His sides are 1 melee, 2 focus, 1 shield, 2 resources. And he has the ability, and this is kind of like a long ability, after you play a blue upgrade on an apprentice, so younglings, Rey, Kylo, Ahsoka, Barriss Offee,
yeah,
Ezra?
Yeah, that should work.
Yep. You may activate this support. Then, if that upgrade is a weapon, you may roll its die into your pool. So if you play a weapon onto a apprentice, you can activate Professor, and then you also get a free roll of the weapon. I think I don't so much care about activating him unless we like get some weird. I don't even care. Actually, I don't even care about that because it's not like he's got like super strong melee sides.
No.
Getting a free roll of the weapon into the pool is good, but like, I don't want to spend 3 resources for this guy to do that.
Yeah, I mean it's like the B-wing where like this die is considerably better. Especially
it's got no blanks.
Resource 2 shield, but
it's
like
got 2 resource 2 shield. Maybe the 2 resource side is the saving grace because you obviously want to be playing some weapons.
Yeah.
But the problem is I don't think you can get more than. I don't think you can. No, I guess yeah. Yeah, so I guess the way I'm reading, I don't know. I'd have to think about this more, but yeah, I just don't see him finding his way into my decks.
Yeah, I think most of these cards don't really find their way into decks.
Blue hero problems, right? Huh?
Yeah, I mean there's just no way. I don't know. They've dug themselves into such a hole here.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a little bit once we get through the spoilers. All right, you're up next.
All right, Qui-Gon Jinn's Spirit. It is a 1-cost unique. The sides are 1 focus, 1 shield, plus 2 shields, 1 resource, special blank. This just says support Jedi. Discard the support from play if you control Qui-Gon Jinn. Special reads, shuffle the support into its owner's deck to give that character a shield. Then remove any number of shields from your characters to deal that much damage to a character. Better than Yoda Spirit? ?
I mean, I tried to play Yoda Spirit against you on stream last week. Every time I drew it, I didn't want to play it, so it's a pretty low bar. But yeah. I think the answer is yes because it costs 1 and has a 1 resource side.
Sure.
Like just on that, I'm like, all right, that's fine. But it's got 1 blank on its die, but I think this card technically has 2 blanks because a +2 shield side is garbage.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell?
Yeah, why would you? Did you play this with Luke? I guess you play this with Yoda, but like the person I want to own is Qui-Gon.
Here's the problem with Luke. Say Luke rolls like a 2 shield side that you don't, for whatever reason, want to resolve as its actual thing. If you add 2 shields to it, it's a 4 shield side unless you have defensive teachings out, you can't put 4 shields on one character.
Yeah.
So it's
So it's a
like,
waste.
yeah, it's kind of a waste in a lot of cases. It'll work with 1 shield sides, but like, all right, so the 2 shield side, it's a blank unless like you can do something for it. It's got a 1 focus side, and like the special, I wish I didn't have to do the special. You know what I mean? Like, I wish
Yeah.
that I could get 1 shield and then the rest of it was the shuffle effect.
Yeah, that's where I would say Yoda's spirit is. I think the special is better on Yoda's spirit. Everything else is not good, but like,
I don't know. Well, I mean, like, so I've been saying for a while now we need a way to turn shields into damage. So at least this is a way to turn shields into damage, and it's shields from any of your characters. So it's not just shields on one person. You could literally throw all of your shields at someone.
right.
So
And I guess if that's, I don't know. I guess if it's enough to end the game, it's great. But other than that, I don't care.
yeah,
But again, it's Blue Hero, so like, I don't. I'm not gonna use it. If I pull this, I'll be annoyed. That's where I'm at with this.
all right. I mean, I'm just saying from the standpoint, I'm fine with cards that shuffle into my deck and let me throw all my shields. From a Blue Hero standpoint, because one of the issues I have with Blue Hero is they have too many shield effects, meaning that they are just really, really, really behind the 8 ball against mill.
Yeah.
So at least this gives me a possible way to get an out for my shields.
Yeah.
And I think the
I
art
suppose.
is awesome.
Yeah, I agree there. I really like the art.
Right.
But you know, I
Okay.
think there's a better 1-cost legendary. I'm just saying that I'd rather drop
What's that?
Yoda's saber
Yeah, well,
for
duh.
sure. Yeah,
All right,
duh,
so
absolutely.
let's move on to the shields. Move on with shields. We got
Yeah.
Moving Rocks. It is a 3-cost event. Spot an apprentice or a Jedi to move any number of shields to any number of characters. Hero card.
Why does this cost 3?
Because you can move it from your opponent's characters to your own.
But no one's playing Blue Hero.
People have shields.
I guess
All right, how many shields would you have to move from your opponent to yourself for this to be worth it for you?
6.
You have to move 6.
6.
I think.
Yep.
I think you. Well, I mean, that seems like that's a 12 health swing.
Yeah.
You need.
I said what I said.
You need 12 health for 3. That's okay.
There's other things I could do. That's all I'm saying.
I don't necessarily think it's a great card, but because it is a swing in health from them to you, if this is a situation, I think if you were to move 4 shields, you'd be very happy about the exchange. I think even if
Yeah.
I think even if you move as few as 3 shields, you might actually have gotten decent value.
I guess I'm being greedy.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, I'll compromise. 4.
All right, so 4 I think is where
For
you're
3
getting like
resources. 4.
4 I think is
That's
where you're
8
getting
health
like
swing.
excited to play it.
Sure.
I think 3 is where you're like, all right, I'm not like I don't hate my life. 4 is where you're like, yeah, this is I want to do it. Here's the
Who do
problem.
I want to play this on is Yoda.
Yeah.
But like no one's gonna play.
Yeah,
I just don't.
So here's the problem. How many times does your opponent have 4 shields?
Exactly. Are you not doing are you not doing anything?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's like unless you're playing against a hero deck that does a lot of shield stuff, odds are they're not getting 4 shields. Because you're doing damage. You're doing things. If you're not, this isn't helping.
So I don't think there's ever a time or I think there's hardly ever a time where you're going to do 3 resources for this and feel good about it.
Yep, I can't disagree. Just with what we have available to us.
Right.
All right. What's up next?
Let's do Untamed Power.
All right.
Is the next one for me. It's a 2-drop upgrade ability. Apprentice character only. Size read +2 melee, 1 discard, one resource. Special, special, blank. It's blue neutral. The special reads, if this upgrade is on a hero, give a character 1 shield and remove a die showing damage. If it's on a villain, deal 1 damage to a character and remove a die not showing damage. Solid. I like it.
I think it goes in a Raylo deck.
Yes, I think that is exactly what it's made for, especially with the apprentice character only.
Yeah, I think in a Raylo deck it's nice because, all right, if you're going up against most decks, you put it on Ray, and it's going to get you a shield and remove dice. That's pretty good. But if you go up against a mill deck, you put it, or if you're in a pinch and you want the damage, you put it on Kylo, and now you can remove any of their dice because none of their dice have damage sides, and deal damage.
And this works with their synergy as far as the flipping goes.
Yeah, it definitely does.
The specials. So
I agree. Yeah, getting shields certainly helps because I think Raylo its ability to be a good deck may be dependent on how often you can resolve Ray's dice for 2 shields and then re-roll it into the pool, because that's so powerful.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested to see what Raylo can do as far as, their synergy and their ability.
It's the type of thing that it is probably it is 100% the most on the nose character pairing they've given us. I mean, we've got the 2 droids, we've got R2 and C-3PO with their plot, but at least they're on the same team to begin with.
Yeah, right. I mean,
this
is
totally
like new avenues.
This is the most on the nose pairing they've ever given us. So it's like that type of thing. You're like, are they going to give something that like painfully obvious to the point where like it's the only way you can run them together? Are they going to make that good? Or is it just not going to be good because they would never make something that obvious that good?
Well, I mean, also I love the fact that these pieces are just rares. You can pull all the pieces, well, not all the pieces, but the character pairing as a rare. You don't need to go fishing around boxes for it. You know, they're not legendary characters.
I think you could pull a fair bit of the deck. I mean, obviously you want to run, like, why would you not run Palpatine's Saber? Why would you not run Yoda's Saber?
Right.
Because that's part of the appeal of them, is that you get everything from both sides. And that might be the only way that mono blue works right now.
I was gonna say, does that make hero good? Question mark.
But it's not hero.
Well, yeah, no, it's neutral if you're doing anything.
Yeah, at least it's got something.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Untamed Power. I like it in a Raylo deck. I don't think I'd put it in anything else. Oh,
I meant Raylo. Does make blue hero good? But I see what you're saying. Yeah. No, I love Untamed Power. I think it's great. Love's a strong word. I like it. We're just friends.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
We're moving too fast.
What card do you want to do next? We've already seen Neiman Mastery, so I don't think we need to go over that, right?
Agreed.
I think its art's cool.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it's a good card.
The art there.
I think it's a good form. The fact that it's 2 costs makes it infinitely more playable than Surasu, and then also because it's both offensive and defensive in nature, I think it might just be more playable in that sense in general.
Oh, sure.
Because the problem with Surasu Mastery is like, all right, you're playing against a mill deck, it does nothing.
Right. I like the Mastery for 2, though.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
We have not seen Neiman training before, had we?
Correct. We have not.
Right.
We did not.
So Neiman training, it is 1 cost, because why would it cost 2 when the Mastery costs 2? Upgrade ability, blue character only, 1 melee, 1 resource, 1 special, and 2 blanks. And then the special is turn an upgrade die to any side. You may discard this upgrade to play a card named Neiman Mastery from your hand or discard pile for free. I get it, what they're trying to do with this training and mastery thing, but yet again, I'm not playing the training.
Especially if the mastery's 2, I'll just take the hit.
Like,
there's no reason to waste slots when.
I agree. If this was 0, maybe.
If this was 0,
obviously.
Was 0,
duh. Yeah, it's a free upgrade. What am I saying?
If this was 1 and the training was like 4, even 3, I mean, I'd be okay with running. People still don't run training for Surisu either.
Yeah, I think in order for the training to be worth it, it does have to be 2 resources cheaper than the mastery.
Yeah, I agree.
And obviously that can't happen if the mastery is 2.
Yeah, I don't anticipate them doing that either.
I hope. I mean, Hey, look, FFG moving forward, 4 sets from, I don't know how many sets you got designed already, but if you want people to actually play the training, you need to make it two cheaper than the mastery.
I mean, yeah, they're 4 sets in right now, and their legendary is Amperu. Blue Milk Amperu.
Hey, she might be the best character Hero's ever seen.
Uncle Owen and Amperu are the legendary character
And then
pairing that you're.
there's a plot for them, and they're overpowered as all hell.
They're saying trip to Tashi Station is the plot. Yeah. Next one. We'll do 3 lessons.
Okay.
1 drop. Blue support hero. The support enters play with 3 resources on it. Action. Exhaust the support, remove a resource from it, and spot a Jedi to turn an apprentice die to any side. This card looks familiar.
It's a significantly better version than that red hero thing that we talked about.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I
In
was
the
thinking.
sense that nothing has to die for it to actually do anything.
Kill your characters to turn a die to a blank.
But this is not good.
I wouldn't play it. This reminds me of Caretaker Village.
You just have to have you have to have a Jedi and an apprentice. So you only mono blue, or like maybe some weird 3 wide that's probably not very good.
I mean, you have a youngling on there, and it works. But
the youngling doesn't have a die.
right, exactly. At some point, like, I don't understand why they keep making supports like this, even if they're 1 cost. Like, they're not worth playing. They're not going to see play. It feels bad to play them. It feels bad to take a 30 card slot or a card out of your 30 card slot. Like, it just doesn't. I don't know.
Maybe the argument for stuff like this is because of like sealed or limited play, but the problem I have with this and like sealed or limited is I have to have a Jedi and an apprentice for this to do anything. So that's a lot of requirements for limited.
Right. I mean, it's nope.
Let's move on from it. It's not worth the 10 words that we gave on it. Like, all right, it's just not good.
Right.
All right, what do you want to do next? You want to do is there, I think there's only 1 left.
No, there's 2. I'm looking at a downgrade, and I'm looking at an event. Oh,
all right, so
2 events.
3 left. There's two events. We'll do the 2 events last. They're moves. They're great because they're moves. Refusal is a downgrade. Damage symbols on attached characters' character dice are resource symbols instead. After attached character is dealt damage, discard this downgrade. Cost 1. Hero.
I saw a post about this summoning the Luke 3 expert banana crapshoot.
I think you got it wrong though.
I don't know what the
I believe the ruling that I've seen is that if this is on Luke 3, Luke's die, it's either shields or resource. You still can't resolve it. You would not be able to resolve it for melee because when you try to resolve it for melee, it becomes resources.
Exactly. I agree.
So that's that. If that's, you can go ask the Gandork about that, but I believe that's what he said because someone linked it. Yeah, obviously I think this card freaked people out for a second because they're like, oh my god, this is amazing in mill, and then people were pretty quick to chime in like, you can deal damage to yourself, right?
Yeah, right.
Like you can just resolve like a 1 melee and then it's gone. Yeah, I think that's what makes this not the monster in mill that people are thinking it is. I don't even think it's that good in mill anyway, because you can't make it stick.
Right.
Your opponent can get it off if they really want to, and then also it's a little like, oh yeah, put this on Vader, and then it's like, I don't want to give Vader a 3 resource.
Yeah, 3 resources, 4 for 1, 2 resources.
Because Vader's playing the fist.
Right. Yeah, he'll drop a fist and then continue to crap all over you.
Like Vader would very, very happily let you play this on him for a round.
4 for 1. You got it. I'll take
resolve for resources, and then shoot himself with the First Order Stormtrooper, and then just, all right, thanks. You gave me a round of like ramp that I never would have gotten. I'm happy with that.
Right. Absolutely. I'll take a time to, slow my tempo down, ramp a little bit, and get some cool stuff out. Like, that doesn't bother me.
Yeah. I think the only plays this card is going to have would be in mill. So maybe.
Yeah. I don't see why not. I mean, it's try everything.
I see a few reasons why not, but maybe. All right, so let's go to these events. You can take the first one.
All right, pulsing slash is a
That's not what
one
it says.
cost. Pushing slash. Wow, that is a good one there. I'm gonna call it pulsing slash forever now.
That's a Freudian slip.
That is a Freudian slash. Pushing slash is a one cost event. It's a move. Activating one of your blue characters, then you may resolve one of that character's character or upgrade dice. If that character has a card titled Nemon Mastery on it, you may turn a die to any side. It is a neutral common. Pulsing slash.
Pulsing slash.
I'm tired. Or just dumb. Or both.
Both.
It looks good. I dig it. Slap it under the lightsaber mastery.
Yeah, it's like all these events that are moves. Immediately, they're like, can't be bad because I can put them under a thing, so they don't go on my deck and they're available whenever I want.
Right. Yeah.
One thing to make note of this, like you have to do events in the order. You have to do things in the order that they are on the card. So you do not get the turn before the resolve.
Right.
So that's a downside, but this is an actually cheaty card.
But it can be used defensively, which is
It can be used defensively. And it's an action cheating card in the sense that you will get to resolve one of your character or upgrade dice. So, hey, in a pinch, one of their characters is like 2 or 3 damage away from death. Why not?
Yeah.
What's the worst that's going to happen? You don't kill them, and you activate your character anyway?
Yeah. I mean, it definitely helps. Anything helps Blue Hero.
Oh, this is neutral, isn't it? Yeah.
It's still
maybe they should start making some of these moves just one side or the other. Oh, Jack's asking us how's it's going. Come on, Jack. I'm going to respond. It's going.
Jump in.
He could.
I mean, he could.
Yeah.
He'd be super confused, but
yeah. All right. So next event, draw closer. God, whoever. I mean, who's the artist on this one? I can't read. It's too small. But like, that's a sad Liam Neeson looking face. Just so sad.
He is really sad. He lost his lightsaber and everything.
It's him getting butted in the face.
He knows what's about to happen.
But hey, Obi-Wan used that. He drew Darth Maul in years later. Same stance. You've seen that, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So 2 cost, draw closer. It is event move. Resolve one of your character upgrade dice showing melee damage without removing it from the pool, increasing its value by 2 if that character has an upgrade title Nemon Mastery on it.
Love it.
Yeah. If you don't have the mastery on you, don't play this card.
Clearly, yeah.
If you do, you're getting 2 damage. No, you're getting essentially whatever the die side is plus 2 damage. So if the die is a 2 side, you're getting.
Play it with Qui-Gon. Play it with Qui-Gon for a big swing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I think
you got the shield on him.
This does cost 2 resources, so I think that it needs to be resolved with like a 2 cost, like with a die that the value that you're going to get from it is also going to be 2. So if you resolve this and you're dealing like 4 damage with it, and then that die is still there, I think you've gotten the good value from it.
Yeah. What was I going to say? Jack sent us another message. I got distracted.
Yeah, JohnJack.
Imagine playing this on JohnJack RedShorts. Imagine playing this on like Vader.
Yeah. Vader's dice are the type of dice that you would want to leave in your pool.
6 for 1, and then going back for another 4.
Well, that would cost you a lot of resources.
I mean, yeah.
So maybe more realistic 5, and then for another 3.
5 and then 8.
That's still a dead character
total. Yeah, absolutely. It's 2 dead.
2 dead younglings.
Dead.
It's actually not because it divides wrong.
Yeah, you got to split it. But even so, I mean, it's still pretty good.
Yep,
I enjoy it.
If you don't have Nemon Mastery on you, you're not playing this. But again, because it sits under lightsaber mastery, that's fine because it's never sitting in your hand dead.
Yeah.
We've got pretty interesting moves. I would like to see some moves that maybe aren't entirely reliant on the specific mastery, so that they could be a little bit more versatile.
Right.
Because right now it's like all right, if you're using lightsaber mastery, maybe with deflecting slash you don't care because it's just mitigation. But right now it's like you're kind of tied into the thing, and you can only take one form at a time. Maybe eventually we'll get a Jedi or a Sith that's like you can play unlimited forms on them. They become like a Super Saiyan.
Yeah, ignore play restrictions with forms or
I
something.
mean, 100, like that's definitely going to be a card they're going to make because why would they be putting that limit on there if they weren't going to do that?
Right.
All right,
Give
who
that,
should it be?
Blue, give Blue Hero an edge or something. Well, who hasn't? Definitely not like Ki-Adi-Mundi. Blech.
No, he's actually doesn't. He's bad at lightsaber fighting.
Yeah, he's the worst. I feel like if they were going to do it, they should have done it with Mace or Yoda, as
Mace
they
or
are
Yoda.
the.
You could even say Anakin,
Um,
like hero
yeah,
Anakin.
Hero Anakin. Maybe Obi-Wan. Maybe, but
Oh,
he's super duper into
Ceresu.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean he was trained in Utaru first because that was the lightsaber mastery of Qui-Gon Jinn, but then
Right.
after the events depicted in this card actually, he switched to Ceresu mastery because he saw the deficiencies with Utaru mastery. I think Mace probably would be the best one because Mace has
Shatterpoint.
He has Shatterpoint. Well, he is the preeminent lightsaber master in the sense that he has his own lightsaber form that nobody
That's
else
true.
does.
Yeah.
And technically, you can look at it one way or another. Did Palpatine let him beat him so that Anakin could be turned, or did Mace Windu actually beat Palpatine? Because if Mace Windu actually beat Palpatine, that would mean he is the best lightsaber duelist depicted in any of the films.
Yeah, that's a tough call.
So, yeah.
I mean, I have to give points to my boy Sheev because I kind of hate Mace Windu as a character. Looking back, and every time I watch,
He's gotta die. It's like Samuel
he
Jackson
is too
broke
dangerous to be left alive.
He broke character for a second, and he just became Samuel Jackson for a moment.
he forgot he was doing Shaft and
Yeah.
not Mace Windu for a second.
You're making a Shaft too.
Yeah.
I don't know. I watched the Hitman's Bodyguard with Ryan Reynolds and him. It was pretty good.
I love both of them. I think Samuel Jackson's stellar, but
Just not as Mace Windu.
yeah, no, I don't think he's bad as Mace Windu. I just think Mace Windu is he's not a well-rounded character.
I think he's more he's pretty well rounded in like literature because his lightsaber form is him tapping into his latent dark side.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he was the coolest when I was younger, and the more that I watch, yeah. But the more I watch of him, I'm like, dude's kind of self-absorbed and deluded, and I think that he should actually be Boo villain. I'm just saying.
All right.
You know, my lukewarm take of the day.
That's racist.
Besides counterintelligence.
Yeah, we're gonna. That's your finished piece. All right, we're running up on about the hour and a half mark. Actually, I didn't think it was going to take us this long, but that's a lot of spoilers.
Yeah, it was a lot of spoilers. Well, we didn't do it from like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, we were backlogged. We had to pull up our put on our big boy pants and get through it. That way, we weren't missing any content. We were gonna lightly touch on the R2 C-3PO talk that's been going on, but I think we might as well just point to people that have already done it. So JohnJack wrote an article that he posted on the Golden Dice website related to what he feels regarding that pairing. Did you get a chance to read that article there, Brian?
I read it, and I also experienced his deck firsthand. And let me tell you, it's a wild ride.
So would it be suffice to say that Jack's opinion as illustrated there is in line with your own?
Yeah, I would agree.
Yep.
I think that the way that the resource generation and the triggers bounce off each other, especially with military camp, is just bananas. I mean, I think that he had dropped a good, he had dropped the 6 Falcon and the landing craft and all that. I mean, landing craft's free, but that's irrelevant. He dropped an entourage or 2, and if he didn't drop the Falcon, he had dropped a bunch of other different little supports. Yeah. And like it's incredible how fast that deck ramps and outpaces. I tried playing DJ into that deck, and because that didn't go well
That's not gonna
because
go well.
all of his dice are pretty much action cheated away, so I can't really stop anything but like Satine's die, and even then, like I don't care about Satine's
Yeah.
die. It's not Satine's die that I care
And,
about because it's not what
and
it's
he's
going
flooding the
for.
board with so much stuff that you're not going to be able to mitigate it.
Right. So I think at the end of the game, I ended up with like I don't know 4 damage on 3PO, because like I couldn't do anything and my dice weren't cooperating. So I mean, bad game maybe, bad matchup probably, but the deck itself is extremely powerful.
Yeah.
Do I think it needs to be hit immediately? I think there are variations of that which would be fine, but I do agree with Jack that it can be a little bit degenerate.
I think the only element to it that I would say right now I would view as like, all right, you probably got to look into this, is the ability that if you win the battlefield roll to disrupt your opponent 100% of the time.
That creates a negative play experience, I think. I feel like.
So the ABG guys hit on this as well, so you can go listen to their podcast. They talked at length about this type of deck. But like one thing that they noted in their conversations with each other and their conversations with some other people's, the general consensus was, all right, well, maybe villain decks can play out of being disrupted at first action because they have the 0 cost mitigation, but hero decks really can't. And even though R2D2 is a hero deck, if it's a hero deck that makes all other hero cards that aren't mill decks real bad, that's a real problem.
Yeah,
like that's like a nice self cannibalization from hero. But yeah, I generally agree. I think the thing that would be considered problematic because it could be a negative play experience beyond its power level, beyond the power level of the deck, which largely remains to be seen, is the ability to disrupt first action. I think that's the thing that probably needs a real hard look. And I think you need to boil it down to like fundamentally, like, are you comfortable with that happening? Like every time that this deck wins the battlefield roll, which is like 50% to 60% for the most part, are you comfortable with 100% chance for that disrupt to occur? Whatever else might occur is other chances, but it's 100% guaranteed that if they want that disrupt, they can get that disrupt. So I just think that just needs to be like a moment, like, are you comfortable with that? Because if not, change it.
Right.
Whether the deck is amazing
or what they do.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I'm interested to see what they decide as far as like how do we fix this? Do we fix this at all?
Yeah.
Because people are like, well, I mean, hero kind of sucks, so why don't we just turn a blind eye for a little bit, right? I mean,
I understand where some of that's coming from, but because this deck also would like run a bunch of other hero decks into the ground, it's like, all right, great, you gave hero like a really broken thing, and you made all their other stuff even suck even more.
Right, I agree. I mean, I think this is the first hero deck besides Mill that would potentially see. I don't know. I think it's interesting, and I think that it's hero, so people are like, "Oh, we're definitely
interested.
We're looking at this closely. Yeah, we're fascinated. We're watching your career with great interest."
I think even if you remove the ability to disrupt first action, however you want to do that, whether it's like just say military camp doesn't exist until we think of another solution, I don't think that actually like makes the deck worse as a deck. I just think it removes that one situation.
It slows it down a smidgen, but like even so, it's not detrimental.
I think the deck could still be really good. I think it could still be like one of the best decks in the game, and I think the only thing holding the deck back is the fact that hero doesn't have the big bombs that villain has. And I know the ABG guys, they mentioned like, all right, well, does this like restrict hero card development? I'd say, I don't know how many. I mean, they've at least got set 9 design, because set 9 is already at the printers right now, because if set 8 is coming out, that means it got finished printing like a month or so ago, 2 months ago. So 9's already being printed. So they've got set 9 already finalized, done. They probably already have set 10 finalized and done because they need to be ahead of it. So we're 2 to 3 sets out. I think yeah, like, all right, if they're designing set 10 or 11 or 11 or 12 or whatever, they're looking like, oh yeah, we got to watch what big things we're giving Hero because we just, they can generate so many resources with this. But I don't necessarily think that's going to have stopped them from putting something like really big in set 9, maybe even this set. We haven't seen all of it. Maybe set 9 or set 10 though, because they should have known that Villain was capable of generating a crap ton of resources, and they handed them Mega Blasters and Fist. So it's
Right.
like,
And they're still running
yeah,
rampant, I mean, it's not like anything has been done to stop that. I mean, Fist has been going for multiple
yeah. So
sets. Entourage didn't get hit in the most recent.
I don't think necessarily R2 and 3PO are going to stop them from giving us a hero bomb.
I agree, and I mean, I still think, personally, I still think that Villain sees more play.
I think Villain has a way deeper pool of playable stuff.
Oh, I agree 100%. I mean, looking at all the blue stuff that we saw today, I mean, I was only excited about maybe, Neiman Mastery, and that's not
It's
even
neutral.
Hero. Yeah, exactly. Like that. Like, what am I supposed to get excited for? Qui-Gon Spirit, a youngling, Professor Hu, like all of this stuff. Moving Rocks, I wasn't particularly thrilled on. Refusal's good, but like all the stuff that I care about, like the moves, are neutral. The Untamed Power is neutral. Like, I just don't care. Like, Blue Hero does not call to me enough for me to say, you know what, there's an event happening. I'm gonna run, Blue Hero through and through. There's not even a question about it, because when Jack and I went to Origins, it was like, yeah, all right, so what are we running? And we didn't even think about um, you know, Hero at all. The Hero is not even a
Oh,
thought, a blip on the radar.
Jack ran a hero deck.
Oh, I mean, Mill doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Like, that's so outside the realm. I'm talking about like blue hero sticks. I'm talking about,
you're talking about the other 90% of hero
yeah, right,
cards.
exactly. Like, it doesn't appeal to me, because I know that, number one, like, my mitigation is shields. Like, I don't, you know, the upgrades aren't great. The supports aren't great. Why run hero when I can just run villain with the more superior supports, upgrades, you name it, you know?
I can't disagree. I think hero right now is in a really weird place, and I think Spirit of Hope gives hero. I mean, obviously the R2 and 3PO thing and some of the other stuff that we saw might be pretty interesting, but I think they just keep on like going down a rabbit hole with Blue Hero in particular, where it's like they're trying to force some stuff, and maybe eventually they'll get it through. But as you mentioned, like Shields' mitigation is not good because you have to deal with mill
Right,
decks eventually.
right,
Like is I'm almost of the opinion that Hero Mill is holding back Hero, because Hero is really bad in the mill because they don't have the cards that are one card that can, for one card, be very impactful.
right,
Like, all right, Villain's got a Fist, and that's great in the mill because you only have to see one, you only have to play one, meaning you can retain your other cards for other purposes, and it has lethality to it. It can be very lethal very early. If you want to get the equivalent power from hero cards, you need to play three
right.
cards. And like you're playing that into Occupied City, or there's 3 extra cards you had to discard. 3 extra cards you had to see, 3 extra cards you had to be able to actually get in play while your opponent's trying to destroy your hand. So I think, Mill, which is a hero deck, does a big disservice to
Right.
hero.
Even the bombs for hero, like, okay, so I'm dropping a 6 cost Falcon, which at first
Yep.
point, that's already more expensive than Fist, Blasters, and Entourage, even though Entourage is
Yep.
neutral. And the sides on that are
Mhm.
not, Fist, Entourage, Blasters level, right? You're not getting 2 additional dice with it. You're not getting a special that, you can spot things. You're not getting an extra reroll
Yep.
in. Like, that's the only thing I can think of. Like, the Falcon is the only big bomb, and that's just not enough. And I don't
Mhm.
see anything in this set, or, I can't think of anything at the moment right now that would be equivalent to the 3 that Villain has.
Yeah, there isn't, and there probably shouldn't be, because the Mega Blasters and Fist might. I mean, Mega Blasters is like the one that I'm like, maybe that's the closest to fair. But yeah, I mean, like there is problem with what those have done as far as like speeding up the game too much.
I mean, even look at the planetary bombardment. That is the same cost as the Falcon. That does way more than.
Yeah, I kind of wish. I wish Hero had.
I would love to have a planetary bombardment as a hero. You know what I mean?
I mean, it would be. I think it would be pretty broken with the new R2 and 3PO because I can get up to six resources. All right, give me 2 activations. I'll get
Absolutely.
6.
You know, there's just no.
Like you're talking about the regularity you're playing the 6-drop Falcon. Like, yeah, 6 isn't a problem.
Right. I would rather take a. I would rather take a planetary. Any day.
All right, so in a world where FFG in a world where FFG does not hate non-mill hero, what is Hero's big bomb? Like moving forward, like if they get a big bomb, what is it going to be? Like, what's the card? I'm not saying like the particulars of the card, but I'm saying like what is the card?
I mean, we still haven't seen the tanks from the Clone Wars, right? Those big. Okay. So like, have you watched Rebels, where those 3 clone troopers are just kind of chilling on that tank, that big moving walker? I think that could maybe
ATTE.
That would be it. Yeah. I think that would definitely be an interesting bomb. I don't know what it would do, but
right. I mean, yeah, that's we're just like talking things that conceptually would like
potentially have big damage.
Be that thing. Yeah. I definitely think you might be right in the sense it would be something from like the Clone Wars era, because that's when the good guy military was at its peak.
Because you're looking at the Rebels and anything post Clone Wars where it's just like, well, we have Ewoks with sticks and rocks and logs, so like that's our big bomb there, and clearly it's not that.
Yeah, maybe you might get something like ARC Troopers.
Yeah,
like like an ARC Trooper squad, or I mean, it probably should have been the Latin. No, that's not going to be a thing.
Right.
What else? They got those like super laser type cannons that took down the Geonosian dropships in episode 2.
Yeah. I mean, that would be interesting.
I forget.
I think that they might be something. They were on the tanks though, weren't they?
They were not on the. No, they were on a separate platform, different thing. And in the Open Circle fleet, which is the fleet that Obi-Wan and Anakin commanded, they actually installed those into the hangar bays of some of their ships to give them like a tactical advantage over like the droid destroyers that were like causing problems.
Sure. So maybe some kind of artillery battery, maybe inside of a ship.
You could get a planetary bombardment. The good guys had Star Destroyers for a war.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be planetary bombardment. It would probably be something akin to like the light speed, whatever it was called. I don't know. Maybe like the fleet, like the fleet over Endor could be something, but it doesn't really. I don't know. I'm like lost for what they could be, because the villains just have so many cooler toys. I don't know.
Yeah, they do. I just want to see some snow speeders from Hoth.
I think we're gonna get there.
Throw me a bone here.
I'm waiting for a whole bunch of things to pop in.
Just give me, we're now seeing like all these things that are like, oh, spot so and so, like Black One and whatnot, like spot Poe turn die. Just give me a Rogue 3, spot Wedge, do something, and then give me a Red 2, spot Wedge, do something. Then give me a Red Leader, spot Wedge. I just want all Wedges.
Yeah, we just want Wedge to be everything. There's just so many things from Clone Wars that they could still tie in. Like they're so far from being done.
Like there hasn't been too much from. Like it feels like we've got Cody, we got Rex, and we got the clone trooper.
There's still a whole bunch of like different plots on different planets where they could have different characters from. Like, who was the underwater? There's a whole section where they were just underwater.
Moncals.
Yeah, the Moncals, where they had the prince like finding his way into nobility and stuff.
And Akbar was in that episode.
Yeah, and like all of that would be awesome.
And Kit Fisto.
I love Kit Fisto.
Underwater Kit Fisto.
The coolest.
Yeah, there's some cool stuff to see. Hopefully there is a bomb in Hero's future. We're just like something that just brings Heroes back into the fold in a non-mill fashion. Because mill, while it is a hero deck, it's just a very narrow subset of cards in Hero.
Maybe it'll be from Legends or something. Like an extended.
I don't know if they're doing anything more from Legends.
I hope so.
I don't. They got to get Disney approval for everything, and like once Disney was like, no more Legends. I remember with the Star Wars LCG, they specifically put a kibosh on making any cards from like that were distinctively from Legends. Like people had their card designs from like Worlds and things like that, and they were like in their relatively final stages, and they're like, nah, it can't be that anymore.
Wow, that is interesting.
Yeah, so I think yeah, because it's got to get Disney approval. Disney's we ain't getting a Mara Jade card.
Literally, the first person I was gonna say was Mara Jade.
Yeah,
that's a shame.
She don't exist anymore. It is what it is.
Well,
can't. Yeah, it's the type of thing people get upset about it, and like I own literally every book that was published depicting from the day. So I own Treaty at Bakura, or whatever it's called. So that book is literally like set 2 days after the Battle of Endor. I own every book from that point on, including like the comic books with Cade Skywalker and Cole Skywalker, you know, his father. I own all of those things. Read all those things. Know way too much about those things. But I've been fine with Disney being like, you know what, we need to just wipe that clean and do our own thing, because like, how are you going to attract anybody that's like worthwhile to your projects if you're not going to give them at least the ability to like do their own stuff?
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense.
Whether that stuff is good or not is another thing, but like I can see why they wouldn't want to be pigeonholed into all of those books that were written by a bunch of different authors, some of which were not very good.
That's understandable. But we are reaching the the 2-hour mark really rapidly. So why don't we let Shane give the sign off?
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. He would never.
Shane's on his honeymoon. If Shane actually appeared on this, I would have, like, I don't even know. I mean, I couldn't have handled it. My heart might have exploded.
Eldest was like, I know it wasn't happening, but my heart still hurt after he said it.
Yep. All right. So you can find us on various internet sites, Facebook, WordPress. Do we do Twitter? I don't think
we do Twitter. We're also on Twitch.
We do Twitter.
We'll probably have a stream tomorrow,
Twitch,
or today, whether you're listening.
Someone's going to stream tomorrow.
I don't know who it'll be. It'll probably be Jack, because he hosts. Yeah,
he owns the stuff. And it's his house.
There's no Jack. There's no stream. So
he owns half the stuff.
So it'll probably be Jack and somebody who has the most availability, which is likely me. But no one really wants to watch me play anymore.
Yeah. Nah, man. Savage aside.
It is Return from the Grave.
It's happening. It's happening on Saturday. We got a tournament on Saturday, and like, ooh, it's going. Tommy's going. Tommy's getting out of the house.
Talisman of Resurrection has brought back my deck, and I am playing it. It is happening, boys. Let's get it.
I've seen it. I've seen the deck. He's given it the good old college try.
I really did. I just want it to work.
It's going to work better than before, but like, that's not much.
Low bar.
All right. How many rounds do you think the event's going to be? Like 4 or 5?
4. I'd say 5. 4.
Yeah, we'll say 5. How many games do you think you're winning?
I'd say 0.
0. All right. So I think you're going to win more than 1 game. I mean, you're going to win more than 0 games. I think you're going to win 1 game.
I think the opponent has to be asleep or new to the game, which.
Now, it's possible that you just like roll hot fire and roll them off the table. There are numbers on those characters.
Not that I've seen on my dice.
Well, you know, hey. So yep, we got a tournament Saturday. You can find us on all those various internet things. We're streaming tomorrow at some point. We will announce that on Facebook and in our Discord at a later date.
I think that's all the things that Jack says before.
It's been fun, Brian.
Oh, it's been a blast.
It's been fun. Yeah. And hopefully this will see the light of day, and we didn't just waste an hour and 49 minutes of our lives talking about spoilers that we've talked about with each other ad nauseum already.
I'm hoping.
Yeah. It's not the worst 2 hours I've spent.
No, me too. We did it something without JohnJack RedShorts.
Yep, JohnJack RedShorts. Go to JohnJackRedShorts.com for all of your Red Shorts needs.
All right.
All right, see you, bud. Bye, everybody.